Hi everybody. So yeah, I'm back. I haven't been posting videos in like weeks now, if not 2 or 3 months, but I'm back, and then we will be kicking it off to the next topic of procurement. So now I want us, with our next topic, I actually want us to talk about what actually goes on the BEC meeting when people are evaluating the quotation, what actually goes on in that meeting. So come in and let's sit on the BEC evaluation table with me so we can kick it off. So on the BEC evaluation meeting, I'm actually going to break it down into 3 evaluations. So the first evaluation, it is going to be when we are evaluating. And actually, before I say that, remember, during BEC meeting, they are evaluating one supplier at a time. They are not doing all the suppliers at the same time. It is one supplier at a time. So what they're actually going to do is that they are going to evaluate one supplier at a time, and then when they're evaluating one supplier at a time, they're actually evaluating the RFQ document. That is going to be the first thing that they're going to evaluate. It's going to be the RFQ document. So as I've said even on my previous videos, is that when they are evaluating the RFQ document, they're actually evaluating the SBD documents, like your SBD1, SBD3, SBD 4.1, SBD 6.1, SBD 6.2, SBD 7, SBD 9, and so on and so forth. So when they are doing evaluation of the SBD documents, they only look at if whether you have completed the SBD documents and also signed. So those are the only things that they look at. Is your SBD document completed and signed? So if you know that your SBD document has been completed and then it has also been signed, so you go through to the next stage of evaluation, which is going to be your returnable document evaluation. So they will go through with the same supplier, they will now go through to the next stage of evaluation, which is going to be your returnable document evaluation. So they will look at if you have returned the documents that they requested for. So some of the documents, it will be the BE certificate for the sake of points, and also to check which level you are, to also check if your BE is registered, and then if your BE is still valid. And then the other document that they will check, also depending on the department that you are in, so it will be the CSD report. So on the CSD report, what we actually check is that are you compliant? Are you tax compliant? Is the CSD valid? And then is it also coming from the supplier that actually returned the quotation or the RFQ? So they will look at the returnable document. So that will then be the second evaluation, which is going to be returnable document evaluation. So the third stage of evaluation, which is very, very much important. This stage is important because this is when suppliers gets to be disqualified. The first stage of evaluation, which is evaluating your RFQ, whether you've signed it or completed correctly, no one gets disqualified because of that. Well, I don't know, maybe on other departments or other organizations they do. But in my case, as far as I know, if a supplier didn't complete the RFQ documents the way they're supposed to, they cannot be disqualified because of an RFQ document. So returnable documents, I know that with us, we actually give you like 7 days so that you can be able to figure, or if you have sent an invalid BE certificate, you can do a sworn affidavit. If you didn't return a valid CSD report, or if it has expired, so we always give 7 days when it comes to returnable documents, and give a supplier a chance to finalize their things. So the first stage of evaluation, you will never be disqualified. The second stage of evaluation, you will never be disqualified. But then the third stage of evaluation, now that becomes the most important part of the evaluation. So the third stage of evaluation, we are evaluating your quotation, which is the main thing in the evaluation. We are basically sitting on the table of evaluation doing BEC because of your quotation. So that becomes very, very much important. So for you to make sure that you go through to financial evaluation and you pass it, is you ensure and make sure, I think I've also said on my previous video, on my previous videos, that make sure that your specification, the specification that is on your quotation, matches the specification that is on the RFQ of your client. How do you do that? You can copy the specification that is on the client RFQ exactly as it is, and then you can just paste it on your quotation. So in that way you will know that your specification, the specification that is on your quotation, definitely matches what is on the RFQ. So, and then after you copy, then you can just add few things, maybe the brand of whatever products that you are quoting for. If it's a laptop, the RFQ didn't specify the laptop, they only specified the resources that they want. They specified the RFQ that, I mean, the warranty that they want. They specified the post that they want, but they never actually specified the brand. Then you can add things like brand, the type of warranty, confirm that the warranty is exactly what they actually wanted, on the RFQ. So that will then be your third stage of evaluation. And the other thing that I actually mentioned is that sometimes during evaluation you find that there are few things that we just want to clarify. Maybe we want to clarify if whether your warranty wasn't clear. We see that we actually requested for a 3-year on-site next business day warranty. And then we do see that your quotation does have a warranty, but your warranty, we're not clear if it's a next business day. So we can quickly look at your quotation and be like, okay, let's look at the contact details that this person put, and then we can take the contact details, call the person, clarify a few things on the quotation. So that is why it is very much important to make sure that your quotation does have all your contact details, your cell number, your email address, anything which is going to be easier for the BEC members to quickly contact you if there is few things that they need to clarify during the meeting. Because if it is not the case, then chances are they can just put your quotation aside and probably disqualify you because you didn't meet the specification, and they wanted an easy way of clarifying things, and they couldn't get your contact details easily, depending on the departments. But that can even cause the BEC members to say, you know what, we can't be doing this for the supplier anyway, they didn't do what we asked for properly, so what's the point? So let's just disqualify the supplier. So quotation, specification evaluation, it is very much important to make sure that your contact details are clearly stated on your quotation, and also the specification that they check, because they check the specification against the specification that is on the RFQ. Copy what's on the RFQ, put it on the quotation, and then add extra information just to make sure that you are giving them exactly what they actually asked. So the final stage of evaluation, actually I'm on the final stage of evaluation. Who gets to be appointed? So before I get to who gets to be appointed, I just want to mention the importance of BEC retaining the BEC document. So the one important thing why you also need to retain the BEC document is that the BE certificate, my apologies, the BE certificate is that when you get into financial evaluation, you are getting into financial evaluation with 20 points. So before we actually look at your pricing, everybody knows that you're getting into the financial evaluation with 20 points. So I'm going to make an example. So if supplier A, we have two suppliers, supplier A and supplier B. So supplier A is supplying a laptop. Both suppliers are actually supplying a laptop. And supplier A is supplying a laptop for 15,000. Supplier B, the pricing is 15,500. But then supplier A did not submit the BE certificate, and then supplier B submitted the BE certificate. So that then means that supplier A is getting in with 80 points. The reason why it's gonna be 80 on the dot is because they're the cheapest supplier. So they're gonna get in with 80 points. And then supplier B is the second cheapest supplier. So they're getting in with probably 78.4, 78.3, but it's gonna be on the 70s. But then because they submitted their BE certificate, so you add 78, 79 point something, and then you add 20 points. So which means they are going to have more points than supplier A. So supplier A didn't get awarded, not because they didn't meet the first stage of evaluation, not because they didn't qualify for the second stage of evaluation, but simply because when it comes to the BE certificate, they didn't submit whether the BE certificate or son affidavit. So that is why they couldn't make it to be the ones that are going to be awarded. Hence, they now have to go to the second supplier who qualified. So the BE certificate, guys, it is important for you to submit it, because the 20 points, they make a huge difference in terms of pricing, because the very final stage, it is when we sit down with your pricing that you quoted for, and then with the points on the that you get depending on the levels. So to summarize this, I will say the person that gets to be awarded is the person that go through the first evaluation, which is going to be completing your RFQ document and make sure that you have completed it fully, and then you have signed it, and then you have returned all the returnable documents that the client said you need to return. And then when they look at your pricing, when they look at your quotation, they see that you have actually met all the specification that the client actually wanted. And you do that simply by copying their specification, and then you add it on your quotation, and then you can also add some of the extra information that maybe was not there on the RFQ, but to just ensure that this is exactly what you guys are giving in, then you just also add that. And then also that person, they submit all the documents, and then now when we do the calculation, there is no way that person will not get the PO. So I hope this video helped you, and then I hope you go out there and then you do good, and then you get all those POs, because I understand that as suppliers, there's a lot that you guys are doing in terms of completing the RFQ document. Is not easy, especially if the department wants you to complete from SBD 1 up to SBD 9, and then they've put literally all the SBD document. It's really not easy, I understand, but I hope you guys understand, are getting help with in terms of like how you need to submit, what is expected, what is it that you need to make sure that you put in place for you to get the PO. Hope this video help you, and then to help many suppliers out there, let us subscribe, like, and comment. You can ask me any question regarding procurement. I will try my best to answer. Somebody asked me if they have to complete the SBD 6.1 in terms of the points. I said yes, you need to claim the points, and then SBD 6.1, that party also need to complete it. So I'll see you on the next video, and I promise I won't take this long to release another video. Have fun, enjoy your day, and welcome to Procurement Management. Bye.